us all make our choices.
No spark between us anyway.
Who dares defy my will?
seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
In general, I have information, animal, and vegetable, and mineral. I am also listening to the stream, so once I can start hearing it.
There we go.
be
Now,
back.
now we got this. Now we got the sound coming through.
We do.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's just get confirmation from chat. Is it better now? Okay.
All right, we sadly missed the 2 spikes, ladies and gentlemen, but are we seeing any interesting keystones or summoners in your opinion, Abba?
Well, the cleanse here coming out of Dream, very important for them to stay safe as they are a closer range champion. And with the matchup the way it is, just being able to have that up there is going to be a key signifier if they have a go button or not.
It's quite fair. I mean, I think with the Yumi staple,
Oh
Obi-Wan's
my
in trouble. Will
gosh.
the red buff burn? It will not be getting the pickup there, but Cody's going to be keeping him out of his jungle.
Invade.
Right now, he's levels behind.
Yeah, that's really important here. And I stressed how important the early game is for NED because if they get this nice lead, they're not going to be able to fight these scalers if they're not going to get these leads. But on the other side, Mythic is going to have a hard time in the mid and late game if that's happening because we're already seeing Goaty take 2 camps away from here, and that's just going to help them stack their nice Moss Stomper as well as get some golden XP. We have to remember some of these more recent changes made it so that counter jungling is more viable now.
Uh-oh. Right now, we're going to be possibly having Greg in trouble here. Goaty is going to be coming in from behind. He's going to get it in the airborne proc.
The flash.
The barrel roll just doing a lot of damage here, getting Greg quite low, forcing out his flash.
Yeah.
And this is already kind of a little bit of a very bad start for Mythic here.
Yeah, it's not all bad for them, though. They do have a nice farm lead here on Royalty, which is very nice to see on Zaya's kit. Although I might have to. Oh,
Nuffy is looking for a potential kill here. That's gonna be first blood gain on the mid side, but right now Obi-Wan's gonna be rotating over, could get out some of this damage. Nuffy's I think is gonna be getting away from the Saproling.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you have no flash in Obi-Wan. He can't follow that.
For him to use. There's not a blast cone, but he just has the movement speed, despite Shinobi having foot here.
Will he be able?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's just gonna
say Playful's just gonna get him out of there. That troll pull just too good.
Yeah, not getting punished there, of course. Had to use his flash, but nonetheless, gotta crash, gotta kill. That's exactly what you want.
Right now, Royalty's in a bit of trouble. He's going to get exhausted. He's trying to get away from this, pull back the feathers, and try to get as much damage as possible, but unable to do anything more. Now Zarkany is in potential trouble. He's going to be stopping a lot of these backs from Nuffy's coming out. Uh-oh. Hawk going all in on the top side. The vicious strikes are quite vicious and going to be just tearing into the dog.
Yeah, I mentioned how potent these early games are going to be. All these lanes having a nice advantage, pretty much all of them except for the bot lane, which has been mostly even a slight edge going over to Mythic. Just even with Zarkny being able to roam here and try and help out the rest of his team to make sure that some other lanes are doing well here as well, which has meant Royalty's been able to get some nice solo XP and balance out Daydream's ability to just get some extra XP because of their whole kit.
Yeah, right. I think right now, looking at it, this has just been a very action-packed early game. I was gonna say in past Mythic games I have seen, yeah, they usually play it very comfortably. They go for their objectives and they just very not calculated. So I think they're thrown a little bit off their kilter with Goaty getting that invade onto Obi-Wan in the early game, and it really just shifted the dynamic of the entire game.
Yeah, and that was only possible because of the early game champions that they have, where they're going to be winning these early games. Means they're going to be able to shove their waves nice and free and follow up on any of the invades should Goaty make that decision.
Right now, Zarkany, I'm pretty sure Zarkany knows that they're going for that dragon is just, hey, we can't really do anything about it right now.
Not caring about that at all. Oh my!
Oh, we have a potential.
Oh,
Fury of the Sands used on the top side. Roger is just hitting him over and over with these siphoning strikes, but that's going to be the unstoppable charge coming in from
the bear trap missing.
Uh-oh. Fury of the Sands is over. You don't have the Q cooldowns you need.
No, he missed the bear trap. Otherwise, that would have been a kill. No.
You hate to see it.
He
You hate to see it.
He missed. He already, though, has a Tiamat. So that's just a lot of gold on them versus a Shen boots here, obviously helping them get away, especially with fleet footwork as well, utilizing that movement speed. And the slow that you have on your W as well really helps MTC out in this matchup.
Wow, we're just going to be having dodges come out from Daydream. Ooh, and speaking of dodges, we're just going to be... Yeah, that was a good one. Nice job there, Daydream.
Yeah, not falling asleep there at their keyboard. It is getting towards the evening, so I suppose they can't really be daydreaming here. And just making sure that they're not getting picked out here. They're still... Ooh, or is Gray getting caught out here? Flashes and ultimates coming out here, but nonetheless, Nuffies was not able to get that kill. Oh,
right. Okay, he's gonna get him. He's gonna get him off of Scarl, but Red Shadow is just gonna have another ability when he gets off of Scarl, and he's just gonna cue him right in the face with the pistol.
Yeah, not gonna be on Scarl soon here, but was able to get a kill and some plates here as well. Roger Maniac just a little too low there, pushed up too far, and ended up dying because of it. And Red Shadowhawk, just being a big beast here, despite being a Yordle, is standing quite tall and taking a commanding lead into this early game, getting a nice 20 farm lead here. Roger Maniac is going to have a harder time picking up these waves with his teleport being down, and with so much gold being on Red Shadowhawk. That's also going to make things more difficult for him as well, and it's going to be able to play safer with these control wards.
Absolutely. I think a big part of why, like, how this game is coming through is just the kind of the how the drafts really all came through. You had the mid lane picked early, so then you're able to get Fizz into a Vigar. Fizz beats Vigar. On the top side, you had to show Nasus at like the 5th blue side pick, so then you could just pick Kled to just get a counter there. The only right now Obi-Wan is going to be going all in on Goaty a little bit, but Twisting Advance is trying to just peel him off him the best he can. Shadowhawk is falling behind him, has the unstoppable. Ooh, are they able to get there? They're going to be missing everything on Obi-Wan here on the bot side. So a lot of resources used to go for that, and you still have the dog stacking on the top side.
Yeah, they were charging right into the enemy jungle there, but not quite getting any kills. Although with the teleport here, they have a numbers disadvantage. They're going to have to back off here, and it's going to make it difficult for them to fight for the Rift Herald with a numbers advantage. However, Greg isn't going to be able to pick up this crashing mid-wave here, and they really need that in order to be able to stack and become stronger. They're being forced to answer some of these responses coming out of NED.
Right now, honestly, just looking at Zarkany, that's going to be Ghost coming out of Roger. That's going to be Fury of the Sands. That's going to be the barrel explosion pushing him back to the team. Are they able to get Daydream here? Is going to get the Apotheosis coming through. You have the Exhaust coming on down. Right now, he flashed through. The Featherstorm unable to get pulled back at this point. Oh, Daydream is getting quite low, but that shield barely saving him.
Hook? The tower?
No one died? No one picked that up. No one died on the top side? Yeah. Wow.
Oh my gosh. The exhaust there, the flash, and everything. But like the other thing is, as NwE, you have 2 dashes, so it makes it very difficult to get that feather locked in there. And even though they were dashing back towards their tower with the feathers up there, they were too far towards the edge for enough of them to hit there, and they ended up living. That was a major play there, but in the end, it's going over to Mythic with that wave being crashed, and they're able to get that plate, and they're going to be able to set up for this second dragon coming up here, which is going to be Earth Dragon. Both teams really like this with some of their beefier characters.
Absolutely, and NwE's does not have as much of a kill threat right now onto Greg. Chum the Waters is down. And Goaty's looking for a potential side angle, but you do have Shinobi in the brush here. Is going to be able to help his teammate out. And they're just going to be walking on out of that. Nothing's going to come of it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's 3 plates down on the top side, and Goaty has the Eye of the Rift Herald. Oh, it looks like they're going to be committing it to the mid. They might just be able to take this should Greg get caught out and Shinobi not be able to follow up well enough.
Uh-oh, here we go. Shinobi's going to get the Twisting Fans coming on through, unable to find anybody, but they are going to be getting the plates on the mid lane. They're going to be getting rid of Shelly. And now I think they're going to be turning this into a massive dragon fight. Get your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. This is about to get crazy.
Yeah, gonna get crazy. The Yakety Sax chain coming out here. Is Roger going to get out here, Verdant?
I think so. The Fury of the Sands is just going to be help him get through. You have the slow and on the auto attacks. I think he's getting away. Ooh, Zarkana's going to get the flash in. That's going to be another flash in response, but NwE is unable to get out and is going to be going down there.
Wow. Primordial coming out here as well. Shadowhawk not giving up on the kill, telling Roger to sit there and ultimately having to back up here. But we got a nice cross map play here on the side of Mythic as well. Just being able to get that nice pick onto NwE's.
There we go. There we go. Goaty is going to get caught out. He's going to be flashing over the wall, gets the dash away. I was going to say, he has people staying on top of him, so he can't dash away. He would hit one of their unit models, but he's able to get out from that play.
Yep. Very well played there, being the GOAT that is Goaty and surviving. And of course, that cost them an ignite as well, but it also cost Goaty a flash, which is a nice 5-minute cooldown, which means he's not going to be able to take riskier plays like that for some of these next objectives that are going to be coming out.
So right now, Zarkany was looking for it. He wanted it.
Yeah, he's been getting pretty good with some of those hooks. Not quite landing. Daydream just being a little bit too predictable here, being able to catch those out.
Ooh, NwE's gonna take a fat chunk of damage. We have the Twisting Advance coming through. Is it gonna be able to catch Daydream? It is. It's gonna get the knockup. Are they able to? This is gonna be Apotheosis coming through, putting them all in. She's doing as much damage as she can. She's getting low. You have Goaty coming in from the wings here. Is he gonna be? That's gonna be Daydream going down to Royalty. Are they gonna be getting the pickup? They are gonna be getting. And Doctor as well. Right now, Royalty's trying to push out as much damage. Obi-Wan's trying to live as long as he can, but unable to get away. Royalty is trying to just put out as much damage, but Chum the Waters is going to be getting that pickup. NwE's quite low. Are they going to be able to get this? That's Primordial Burst coming through, taking him out. And wow, Greg coming down, getting a double kill here, matching that rotation. Well played for Mythic there.
Yeah, NwE's had a good rotation there, getting some nice pickups, finishing out Obi-Wan Shinobi there. But in the end, they are the one that is finished, and they end up dying there. And the lead going over to...
Boo. I'm just going to boo.
But nonetheless, I think Mythic played that quite well, using their numbers advantage there and getting some nice picks. They need this gold here, and they have a nice 1,000 gold lead here with the early game just coming into an end about a minute ago. Of course, they're going to be losing some towers here pretty soon with top being as damaged as it is and mid being as damaged as it is. And they just weren't able to get that damage into the bot tower, partly because the Rift Herald we saw and some of these just earlier aggressive plays that have panned off. But Shadowhawk is pretty strong right now and might be able to change some of these fights.
Absolutely. We have the twisting bits coming through. That's going to be him getting rid of Scarlet. Is he able to get the courage? He's not able to get it fast enough, and Roger's going to be taking down Shadowhawk here.
Yeah, not strong enough to take a 2v1 despite having a fully stacked Ravenous Hydra. Oh my gosh, the hook!
Wow, that's going to be the final chapter coming out. Is that enough to heal Daydream? Daydream trying to get out as much damage as possible, trying to run away from this play. Royalty's unable to get the pickup there.
Yeah, unable to get the pickup, but well played. A flash was cost out by Royalty there, coming out, as well as the heal coming out of Dr. Magic, important here. Although Roger getting caught out here potentially.
I think Roger's going to be possibly getting away from this scenario.
Yeah, but it did cost them a ghost. It did cost them a ghost. We'll have to see if Goaty is going to be refollowed up on here, or if they're going to get any of that wave at all for Shadowhawk. Although it looks like Shadow's going to be able to go there, and they're going to be able to possibly set up for something else or reset for some nice mana. Being their top jungle is gone right now. Daydream asking for help, too low to really try and sustain through this. Being they're an all-in lane on the opposing side, so it's dangerous if they get hooked once.
Uh-oh. Right now, Greg's going to have to flash away, get away from Goaty, get away from this damage. I think, this is a tough play to make here on the bot side. You have the Jubilant Veil, unable to save her through that Feather Storm. Royalty just doesn't care.
Not an auto attack. It's not an auto attack.
Yeah.
Super, super greedy here. Of course, just getting their shield bow, but Gale Force is very important on Royalty because it lets you reposition so that you can get an optimal feather pull or get a nice angle to get a root off there potentially as well. Or you're an AD carry. Let's face it. You just sometimes need to back off and play safe.
Yeah. You can't always expect the Yuumi stapled to you to always save you.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. We have to talk about what's happened here because it was 0-3 and only one kill has come up onto NED, but Mythic here has been able to get 7 kills in return, partially because of the rotations, and they were able to set up for some of these objectives here, and because the early game wasn't as strong as you would have liked coming out here as well. Mythic is going to have a nicer mid-game than they should have, in my opinion.
I think I have to agree with you. I mean, the Frozen Heart pickup onto Roger was massive, really. It just kind of stemmed some of the bleeding into the top lane. You're no longer able to just abuse the dog as heavily. Then you're able to just lifesteal back up. So I think that's a really good pickup by Roger. And then also Greg has just been doing a great job in the mid lanes, just absorbing a lot of pressure. Basically, only has had one death.
Yeah, and it was just first blood. That's the only time they died. They went, oh yeah. Fizz has some kind of BS in his kit, can just go through my defensive options. Oh my gosh, here. Is Obi-Wan going to get caught out? No, Shadowhawk is off a Scarl here, and it's going to be paying for it. We were just talking about Greg's rotations here. Our rotating a Fizz. Just being able to get a lot of value out of there. Of course, you don't have to counter-rotate as a mid laner, just getting a tower there as well. Super important. Denying them minions, denying them gold, forcing their carries to split gold is super good because you're able to concentrate it on to a deadly target who can just kill them because they're not going to be as strong. Just being able to pop some of these important targets, super important, but going to be difficult.
Right now, it's going to be Chum the Waters coming out. He throws down the baby cage, trying to get away from his team, but the explosive barrel is going to be knocking Greg to the back. But Zarkany is going to be getting the hook. That's going to be a flash coming out from Nuffies. That's going to be getting that knock-up final chapter coming through. Featherstorm coming through the pullback. Apotheosis trying to pull them all in. She's trying to get the Jubilant Veil, getting a lot of these dodges, but is Daydream going to be able to get out? Is going to be living with a sliver. Now Goaty's in trouble. Greg's going to be taking him down. Zarkany is going to get the hook here on the sidelines over on Nuffies, but Nuffies is going to be, that's a lot of damage coming through. Shadowhawk has the Yuumi, going to be going in. They kind of split up the teams here. Greg's going to be getting at Nuffies here, but that's going to be at the cost of your ADC, and that's a 650 gold shutdown over to Shadowhawk.
Yeah, so NwE's had no mana at the start of this. They just didn't back off after getting that tower. They got collapsed. This is kind of like our first big team fight here, trading your jungler and mid laner for their bot laner and some shutdowns here. But the gold gap has been widening, so Mythic Ascension is sitting here at a commanding 2,700, 800 gold lead, which is quite nice on the scaling team. Coming 20 minutes into this game here, it was good that NwE's was able to get a nice pickup here, but in the end, they ended up dying, and they're a major source of their damage right now. And Daydream is just falling asleep, kind of behind right now. Doesn't have any kills on the board, is down 52 CS, and is down a full item at this point. Navori Quickblade is such a potent item on Royalty because it helps your abilities. You're already going to be building crit on Zaya, and it helps your Feather Recall.
Uh-oh, right now that's going to be a knock-up onto Daydream, but you have Shadowhawk in the wings here. Are they able? They aren't able to take down Daydream. That's just too much healing coming out from the final chapter. And that's going to be Twisty Advance coming through.
No.
You are descarled. Where's your friend? You're going to be going down. And wow, the dog coming in from the sidelines, putting in a lot of work instantly. And this tower is going to get chunked out very fast.
Chunked out. It's going to be taken here, Verdant, if they're not careful. And it looks like that's going to be the case. They didn't get any return kills here, although NwE's coming in here for potential pick.
Right now, he has 2 items, and they're both quite strong for bursting, but he's not going to be able to find any pickups here.
And he needs these with his Dark Seal, trying to get some low gold items with high AP value. It's your highest AP to gold ratio. Here we're going to get the most value out of it. Should you get all these stacks here? And it looks like Goaty is going for it as well, recognizing I really have to kill these targets super fast, or it's going to be dire for my team.
Uh-oh, right now Roger's in trouble. The Chum of the Water is coming through, but the Fear of the Sands return, and that's just going to be him getting out of this play. He's able to just eat that damage, heal it all back.
Yep, that is a Roger Maniac for you. Just a lot of lifesteal in your kit. The Divine Sunder as well. Not going to be taking as much damage here. The Spectral's Call just going to be helping with that as well. Making sure NwE's is just going to be nullified with their kit. And Goaty isn't going to be doing as much as well because they're just going to have extra MR and healing.
Uh-oh, Twisty Advance coming through. Right now, Daydream's trying to dodge around for a hook. And gets the cleanse, gets away from that. That was a dicey scenario there.
Yeah, it's a dicey scenario. It's good that they were able to use cleanse to get away, but what's not good is they're not going to be able to go in, and that's just Daydream's like champion right there. Roger's trying to get a nice pickup on Hawk here when he's overextending by himself. His plays haven't been turning out super well, and Goaty, even with Dr. Magic here, isn't going to be able to do stuff, wasting a lot of time, and that means Mythic is going to have priority in the bot lane, and the mid wave is fairly neutral right now. Oh my gosh.
Nice hook onto him instantly. Where's your Scarl? He's going to be going down over to Royalty. And that, I think that was like your #1 engage, maybe outside of Goaty there. So this is, I don't even know if they can go for Dragon anymore. I think this play is just blessed.
No. There's no way. With a numbers disadvantage and no vision, you cannot go for Dragon here, especially when the enemy team has range advantage. The most important thing here is Red Shadowhawk did not get a lead, or as much of a lead as they needed to. They had 1 kill, and now they're 2-4. And this also means they can't 1v1 Roger here at 24 minutes when they probably should be able to at this point. It should be a little bit more even, as Roger shouldn't have been able to get as many stacks. But that means Red Shadow can't split push effectively into a lot of these champions, which more importantly means, well, they're going to have to shift over into a team fight comp, but we've seen how that's gone. Like, how do they approach an anti-dive team as a dive team? You can't, especially if you're not able to get these waves under control to try and set up the vision and try and set up the plays for how all of this is going to be going.
So right now, looking at this, you're kind of losing some of the tempo coming out from the side of right now we're getting Chum the Waters coming through. There's a flash coming up from Greg. NwE is going to be using the stopwatch there, and we have charge here in the bot side of the map. And Roger's going to be using the Fear of the Sands, trying to get as much damage as he can. He's trying to get some of these heals. Bear Trap of the Rope is going to be cutting it down. Zarkany is here now to help his teammate. And Goaty is getting low. Roger taking him with him. He's going to be getting Scarl again, but he's going to get instantly de-Scarled. And this play has just become a nightmare here for Shadowhawk, and Doc just trying to do the best he can because the second that he goes down, he's dead as well.
Yep. Magic is going to do a nice magic trick called disappearing and reappearing
no
into
12.
the fountain here as well. Not quite getting some of those stacks. Like I said, it's very difficult for them to do that. And Mythic gave the return answer. They try to use the numbers advantage, and then the rotations happen because of the waves, because of the vision, which means you get picked out here, just like Daydream is right now. There's no way they're living through that primordial burst coming out of Greg here. They're going to be a little bit lower on mana with Shen being so low. Of course, as jungle, you're able to regenerate it just a little bit faster because of the summoner spell and the items you end up building, and just the natural part you get out of the jungle. But it's going to make things a little bit harder for them. Some of these more important summoners are still up for them. They're missing some like ghosts and flashes, but they have the gold lead. So do they need them? Probably not at this point. Roger's super low in mana, Verdant.
Yeah, I think this time he is going to be in trouble, and has a 650 gold shutdown, so I think this might have been a little bit too greedy from Roger to be staying this long. That's a 950 gold shutdown going over to Goaty.
Yeah, Rutro Reggie, the split push did not work.
Well, okay, the 0 mana split push, like being that far out with 0 vision didn't work.
Yeah, it was doing quite well until, you looked at the mana. You just got to get the Tyler 1 clip there being, you're out of mana!
You have no mana!
A classic clip, to be sure. But one of the other important things is they're going to be at a TP deficit here as well, because Mythic has 2 teleports, both of which are up, of course. Roger has to be alive before they're going to be able to use it. But that means some of these plays that they're trying to use their numbers advantages, they have to be over quick. Otherwise, they'll be facing a teleport, and that could change super fast.
I just wanted to point out one thing that I find to be a little bit sad to see, but I totally understand why. You have an Executioner's Blade on Shadowhawk right now for a Kled. That's how much this dog has just been healing, and he can't deal with it, even with the 60% grievous wounds from the bear trap.
It's not just that, though. There's also a nice mythic called Radiant Virtue coming out here.
Oh,
well.
yeah. But it's just the ignite, the ignite, the bear trap, all that kind of stuff is just unable to help in that scenario. Right now, Greg is looking for an aggressive play, but he's gonna get just too much engage on him. But he has that massive shield coming through. That's gonna be Chum the Waters getting that 1,000 gold shutdown over to NwE's. That might be the lifeblood they really need here in this matchup.
1,000 gold for sure, but it's been a while since they've been at 7 kills. They're finally hitting 8, but 4,000 gold, it's hard to come back from, but that's what they need to come back into this and getting that lifeblood, although they're getting pinched out right now, Verdant.
Yeah, they're going to be taking Goaty with them, no question about that. Royalty's going to be getting the pickup, but right now Zarkany is running after Daydream. That's the double dash down. Zarkany is going to get slow. Ooh, yeah, that's just going to be missing on that rocket grab.
Yeah, just feeling a breeze there, but with all these backings happening and Dr. Magic being on Shadowhawk here, doing the split bot, Baron for a power in the bot side, maybe a dragon. That seems worth it with a gold lead right now. Soul Point, not super strong. Cloud Drake, not the strongest win condition. It's no Hex Tech for sure. And with everyone having a Baron buff, they're going to be able to shove these waves harder. And we've seen how well they've been able to protect these waves and force fights on them as well to end games.
Yeah, Shadowhawk's going to be getting that dragon pickup, but now you have Chum the Waters come through. They're going to be, they're going to be using the Shurelya's to get on out of there as fast as they can. I think they're going to be able to run away to their tower. You have no wave on the bot side of the map.
Yep.
So Roger's just going to be stopping backs. They're going to be turning a lot of this damage into Roger.
No.
But Fury of the Sands is just too strong here. Oh, no. NwE's in trouble. Twisty Advance coming through. Daydream, right now, Shadowhawk in trouble. Unable to get back onto Skarl. Is going to be going down. This dive is quite free.
Disastrous. Trying to step up there, but we knew they were going to be following there. They've been grouped together so nicely on the side of Mythic. And if you see one of them, you're going to see more than one of them. You see a bunch of them following up here, unless they go super deep here, getting lost in the sauce, but unpunished here with the advantage that they have, and a nice team backing them up once that tower's down as well. And they're going to be shredding through it. Just look at Roger's structural damage here.
That and yeah, that's just late game Nasus with a Divine Sunder. Has a
Can
lot
you
of
even call
stacks.
this late game? It's only 30 minutes in here.
I would say like this is getting to late game. Like
It's getting into the like late game for sure.
Also,
but
that was a
it's not like
disgusting hook.
late game. Oh yeah, no. Like this has just been like another day on the Rift for Mythic right now. They're like, yeah, going in.
That's going to be Flash coming in from Obi-Wan, trying to get the shove back. Right now, the Jubilant Veil trying to save the team as much as possible. Shadowhawk trying to get some of this courage back, get back on Scarl, but that's going to be Tower going on down. Roger's going to be getting the grab onto that, and Royalty's just getting these pickups left, right, and center. Greg now not even respected him, just going to be throwing all this damage into Fountain, and that's going to be Daydream going down, and it's all up to Goaty. He has no mana. He's just getting knocked up, and that's going to be just another plus 12 for Roger here at the end of this game. And that's going to be your game one for the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen.
A commanding start coming out of Mythic here. Every time I've seen a Mythic team perform, they've always performed quite well, and this is not any different here. A lot of value to be coming out of here. I think Greg played very admirably. Royalty was basically in a 1v2 lane and ended up getting such a commanding lead, almost flame horizoning Daydream here, which is super important. And they were able to do some nice follow-up plays, had some nice vision to go with it, and it's just everything you want to see out of a team.
But right now, just who do you think MVP for this match?
It is a little bit tricky with all of those things in consideration. So I think I'm going to have to go with Greg here. And that's just because they were able to get a lot of rotations, a lot of picks. Of course, they did die early on, but they ended up going like, 3-1 into the laning phase. They did almost 20,000 damage here. Roger also did really well playing into what I consider to be a pretty bad matchup here and was able to get a lot of value there. And of course, none of this was possible without Obi-Wan Shinobi. But I think my end decision here would be Greg.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with you there. He performed quite admirably. Just he absorbed a lot of pressure in the mid lane. Like took a lot of ganks coming at him, and I was able to find a lot of value throughout that entire set, throughout the entire game. What did have a fight, like did have that first blood give it away, did have a little bit of like of a farm deficit, but it kind of didn't matter. You just had the absolute power stacks coming through. So
yeah, the stacks coming there, super nice for them indeed. Just being super big as a late game comp, and I wasn't gonna get any worse from Mythic at that point. They were just gonna become stronger, able to get some CS, able to get the stacks, able to get the stats, and really push things up. And the gold lead would just snowball at that point.
All right. Well, as we get ready for game two, we are just going to go to a small commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with game two shortly. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again, and we're going to be having game 2 of NwE Delta versus Mythic Academy. Mythic Academy was able to take game 1.
Yeah, Mythic Academy did very well here. Is this Bard ban an actual Bard ban, or is it going to be the actual Blitzcrank like we got mixed up early on? I'm suspecting it's still a Bard with how I'm seeing the client go through. Of course, Asol, super potent. Imagine if Greg was playing Asol instead of Vigar, how different that game would have been.
Yeah, I mean, I think both would have been absolutely brutal. Like,
yeah.
Both are obviously infinitely scaling threats, but I think I would rather try to handle a Vigar over an Asol. Like, but both are pretty bad evils, but I think I take the Asol evil. I take the Vigar evil.
Yeah, I mean, he is a nice little evil Yordle there as well, but it looks like people agreed, or at least the quote-unquote other team agreed here based on the draft link. Vigar, pretty potent there, able to get some nice roams, and ended up being banned here along. And it looks like they don't want to be giving up the Zaya on the side of Academy as well. She's not like the greatest first pick, as she's pretty punishable if you're not banning someone like Caitlyn, who can just bully you in lane.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be a Vigar ban coming out from them. So they're gonna be respecting Greg this time, but that's gonna be the Varus pickup. I kind of surprised to see Varus. I know he's quite strong. He has the flex potential of mid lane and ADC, but I've never really seen him much as a premium pick.
He can be pretty potent. He has some nice range, so he can go well into a lot of different comps. He obviously, with his Chain of Corruption, his ultimate, he's going to be able to get some nice follow-up on crowd control as well, which is super nice for a team. So I think he plays quite well into some nice compositions and is able to punish some laners as well. He's also good against tanks if he ends up going the AP route, and if there's squishier targets, he has other builds to deal with them as well. So there's just some nice flexibility in your team, which gives you some flexibility as well. Maybe you end up wanting to have an AD mid laner, and normally that's not possible because your AD carry tends to be, well, attack damage based. So that really helps round off comps there as well. It's kind of like a Syndra of bot lane, in my opinion, in the way it kind of like rounds stuff off. It's not a perfect analogy, but sue me.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I feel like Vargas maybe has like more flexibility at the end of the day than Syndra, because Syndra, you can only go AP, you cannot go AD at all.
Yeah, but she's got more like peel and her with her cooldowns and some of the range and stuff. So yeah, that's the part I had contentions with here. Although one thing to point out here, because I'm assuming you're not going to be as familiar with the Kai'Sa Varus matchup. Kai'Sa really wants these nice short trades with an auto followed up by her isolated Q to get some nice damage in there. And for longer fights here, she'll want to land her W to make sure that target dies, getting the passive stacks to get everything in there. And of course, Varus can just play from afar and poke stuff up. Has some pretty decent all-in potential as well, should the stars align. But it's a little bit harder to hit Kai'Sa once she gets her second evolve because she'll be invisible, so you have to predict that, and she gets a huge burst of movement speed. With her ultimate, she's going to be able to dodge stuff pretty well and dodge those abilities with a big shield as well, even if you do end up catching her or predicting it, which makes it a little bit harder. Of course, Kai'Sa is going to be having a little bit of a weaker laning phase, but they have a Blitzcrank to help mitigate that damage.
Right, and yeah. I mean, right now, do you think there's a world in which Annie is the support here, or do you think it's just guaranteed?
I've seen it. I have seen Annie support more than once in style, so I can't like say yes. There is definitely a chance that it's only Annie mid here.
Yeah, but that's why I'm a little bit torn on my end. Where it's just like I don't know how this is exactly going to be. Lean in here.
So let's think about this logically. There's a Wukong here who does really well with an Annie, and the best chance to utilize that Annie is going to be with her mid lane because she can rotate between these lanes. Tibbers getting everyone not hitting a big stun there, and then Wukong can follow up. Or if they're a little bit more spread out, Wukong can ultimate them in, get them nice and tight, and then you can get that in there with Annie's Tibbers. They're getting the stun, seeing them in there, and getting a second charge off your ultimate, and Annie does all that burst damage as well. So if you live through both of those, that's going to be very potent. So I'm guessing it's going to be the mid lane, and that would make sense with how these mid laners ended up playing.
So right now we're at Talia. I think Talia is a good pickup. They do want to dive, and that's going to be stopping a lot of the dive. And you are correct. That is going to be an Annie mid. Good analysis and breakdown there. That's going to be a Braum pickup for Delta.
Okay. So Kai'Sa's isolated Q are projectiles, I believe, and Braum Shield's interaction with that would just mean like no damage is going to happen other than any passive stacks, which, I mean, you're auto-related, which isn't going to be super great and could potentially catch some of the Blitzcrank pulls as well. And you're a Warden, so you're going to be able to peel for some of your big, important carries here as well. So a very good pickup into this setup for their composition. Fairly well-rounded. They've got some nice beefiness with Braum and Gnar, and of course they have good AP. They have so they're going to have some nice mix of damage here. Vars can go for either build. They're not going to be quite tanky enough, although with Nasus, they might end up wanting to go AP with Blitzcrank, Jarvan, and Nasus being fairly beefy here. So, and just trying to get some of that out. And of course, if you're able to like pop their Kai'Sa, that's going to be super important here. Academy is going to be very reliant on Talia and Kai'Sa's ability to do damage here into the early and mid game. Of course, Nasus has some nice late game inevitability, as we saw beforehand, and they were able to play it quite well. We'll have to see if the Gnar matchup is just going to be a little bit better here. But with how that was played out, even in a disadvantaged lane, with how aggressive we saw a Khaled, it worked out quite well for Academy.
Yeah, Gnar can definitely be a lane bully. He can just kind of hurt Nasus a lot, but I don't know if that damage is going to be enough to kind of just match Nasus's healing. I mean, last game you had a 60% heal cut, and you had Scarl, which allows you to tower dive. You got like a few kills, but as you aforementioned, the inevitability really kind of just caught up to you, and I don't know how Gnar makes this situation overall better. I think it's better for your team for like engage, because obviously you had charge, but like charge is not hard CC. That just gives a lot of movement speed to your team. But being able to throw them into the wall with Mega Gnar, I think could be important for them. But I think that's going to be very difficult to transition a Gnar over to help the rest of the team. Nasus is just going to be able to. He could, if he wants to, sit in the side lane and just split push.
I mean, that's what we saw, and I think that's what's going through their mind. I believe they hovered Camille for a little bit, and that's exactly what you want to be doing. Sitting in the top lane, dueling, getting those pickups, and just going super strong as well. And, well, here with some of this draft coming in to fruition, I think that Academy is still going to be strong here. We saw how potent they were able to get that Blitzcrank hooks, able to get some nice important picks, and they had some super potent rotations here, and then walling off the enemy from engaging as well. And they scale quite nicely into this game as well. Not quite as nicely as last game. Obviously, Xayah scales better than Kai'Sa, and Veigar scales better than Talia, but they didn't necessarily need that into this, so I think they're still going to be strong into this, and they're going to have so much setup with the Cataclysm and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, right now, okay, Delta has a lot of. They want to go for picks, and like they want to do that. But I don't know how successful some of these are going to be, because your best engaged tool obviously is the Wukong with the ultimate. But I think that's going to be very hard trying to get in, deal that damage without just getting some return CC or getting blown up. Or Zargany is maybe not going to, like, he's going to be able to peel his team very well. Talia has the
Well, Braum can't hop. Braum can't hop.
Yeah,
at least Minefield
exactly.
is up.
Yeah.
And Wukong can't dash because his invisibility is a dash. And Nar's hop can't hop so it's just so hard to go into them. And then, of course, let's say you avoid the Mind Field. You play a nice game of Minesweeper in your League of Legends. There's a Blitzcrank to answer who can just mute you. And then, of course, Nasus can just slow you down so much you're not going to be able to kite like you'd want to be as Nar, or you're not going to be able to just all in as well as you'd want to as Wukong and stick on targets. You're just going to be walked away with either a pull as an answer, or perhaps Jarvan's just going to jump on you, or Kaisa could just press E and walk away.
Yeah. Okay. So I was thinking worked earth, which is okay. Worked ground is the Q for like the area, and then it's unraveled earth. That's what I was trying to think of. Where then that stun field is just going to be very hard to fight into for them. So I think that this is you might possibly want to go for like a Trinity Force on the Gnar and just go throw him in the sideline. Try to abuse the dog as much as possible, keep him down, and then just have a nice Gnar split pushing on the sideline, because he's able to hop away, able to get away from Nasus and some of the inevitability when it starts getting towards the late game. Because if you can hop over a wall, I mean, Nasus obviously can't wall dash, and you go teleport Ghost. So in a lot of those scenarios, you can just get away for free.
Yeah, getting away here as well. Do you have any predictions as to which one of Varus's builds is going to be coming onto line here? He's got 4 potential options: crit, on hit, AP, or more of like a poke sort of like go comet build into his kit.
Okay, I think that he's gonna have. This is tough to fight into. I think they might try to go for again in this game for early game pressure, and I think you might want to go for Hail of Blades. And I think on hit works better if you're going Hail of Blades, if I recall the data correctly.
I don't think he'll want to go on hit. It's just one of his weaker builds here. He needs to be able to either chunk targets out so they're not going to be able to follow up or engage onto their team, even though they have a Braum and an Annie, and it might be a little difficult. But if they're not going to be able, they can't like necessarily walk up to like auto people down. So I think they're going to be going for a probable AP build. I think this would be the stronger one, but Varus players have so many options to pick from, it is harder to make that choice.
Yeah. Well, as we sit with that conundrum, we're going to be just quickly going over to commercial. We're going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be game 2. Hello, summoners. Welcome back to the Rift. This is game 2 of Mythic Academy versus NwE Delta. Right now, we had Mythic taking game 1, and they're going to be going for a spicy invade here.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Getting caught out again on a ward. Neither of these being pulled out here, but nonetheless, they don't necessarily need to have one here. It looks like we're already seeing Goaty doing that counter ward, so they know where the jungler is. We saw how potent that is, but unlike game 1, we're also getting a nice stack here into a ward, so both junglers will ideally know where the other one started and can play around that. Do you think we're going to get a split map here, being how much of an invade we saw earlier on?
Okay.
We're already seeing Goaty start top, and it looks like Obi-Wan is pathing to the bot side.
I think, okay, based on last game, that was like, I think Goaty created maybe like some of the best scenarios that their team had going for them. I mean, Delta obviously kind of had like a bit of an early lead with getting a lot of the summoners out from the side of Mythic, and then they kind of fell off. But he's going from blue over to Gromp. I don't know if he's going to be running immediately over to at the top side of the map. I think this one we might see more.
They have the ward. They have the ward, and a little bit. But the clear speed is the more important part of this equation here, right? The third camp being moved on by Goaty here, and it looks like Shinobi's either going for a gank or an invade here.
Oh, that's a nice hook from Zargany right now. That's flash coming out of Daydream. Ooh, that's gonna be the drag flash miss.
Passive? No W, as they're not level 2 yet. Oh, that's just getting some flashes for free. And more importantly, they're not staying alive here. Well, I shouldn't say for free. Daydream had to flash and exhaust, but nonetheless, they know where the jungler is here, so they can do a free invade here. Which means they're not going to be able to catch these camps in time, as they're going to have to walk over, and they didn't catch their wolves, which means they're going to be at a deficit, just like in game 1 for their camps and their XP.
Yeah, in both games, Goaty was A, able to get the invade, and B, at Shinobi was level 2 for a long period of time. But you do have the jungle catch-up XP, where then if you're 2 levels down... Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, if you're 2 levels down from, like, the majority of the map, and it rounds down on that average, you get 50% more XP from every camp.
Oh.
So you catch up very fast. So I don't know if Shinobi's really going to be at that much of a deficit, really.
Never punished. Oh, that minion did not know what was coming for it. Getting some return poke here as well. No. Oh.
Also, I misspoke. It is rounded up. Apologies.
It's rounded up? Oh, okay, okay. Obi-Wan was able to get the scuttle here, and it looks like they're looking for a potential invade, although none of these camps seem to be up right now, so they're not going to be getting too much off of it. Maybe it'll rotate into a mid gank, but the way that Snuffy's is playing, they're safe. They're safe.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, that's gonna be a good. That's gonna be good hook day, and that's gonna be Doctor taking a fair bit of damage. Goaty's gonna be coming over the wall, but unable to really find anything here. And this bot lane for the side of Delta is quite poked out, but we have Shinobi here on the top side. Hawk, I think, is gonna be able to just get away from this scenario. You have the leap. I think that's just gonna get him for free out of this scenario.
Yeah, Void Seeker getting 2 stacks, securing some damage onto Dr. Magic, popping the passive and doing all that damage.
Ooh.
Although MTC here getting a good number of hooks landed. Super good for them, although they really need this wave crashed in order for things to line up for them ideally.
Zarkany is going to be getting his passive pop, but Royalty is in trouble. That's going to be a hook from Zarkany, going to be pulling Goaty under tower. That's going to be breaking up that play right where it stands. Nuffy's is going to be going down to half health here on this play. The stun coming through. Right now, both of them are chugging pots through this play, and I think that's all it's going to be at. But Greg's going to be, I think, taking the upper hand on that fight, getting level 6 prior to Nuffy's.
Yeah, here comes the trade train here. Chugga, 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 chugga. Getting those pots down, making sure everyone's nice and healthy. and trying to get any advantage that they can. Gold being super even here at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. No kills have happened quite of yet, despite some of these ganks happening, some invades, and summoners disappearing, flashes being gone here, and yet no one has died. But we have yet to hit level 6 on a majority of the crew here. Mid lane has it, but top lane just hit their spike on Roger.
I think that's going to be very... Ooh, Daydream is not going to get hooked by Zarkany here. Has done a very good job of dodging a lot of these hooks across both games. I think Zarkany was able to hook the majority of like their team. Oh, Nuffies could be in trouble here. Timber's going to be coming on down. Greg's going to have to flash out. Goaty's going to be flashing forward to go with it. That's going to be Comet coming through for Nuffies again here in the mid lane.
Yep, Nuffies has been able to use a lead quite effectively. Their flash is going to be down, so they're a little bit more vulnerable. Oh, and it looks like Goaty isn't helping them shove the wave, despite them being so low in mana, and Greg having a teleport there. That's going to make things less good for Nuffies.
Yeah, I think less good is going to be Nuffies potentially dying here. He's going to be shoved back into the unraveled earth. That's going to be him quite slow, but the big rock is just going to be returning this kill onto you. And then NwE is able to shove the wave fairly quickly. So I think Nuffies
can shove waves.
I think Nuffies is actually going to take the losing end of this trade at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially because Goaty had to come and do that, so they're sharing some of that, kills and any of the minions that died there as well. So a good return by Greg, although their teleport's going to be down, and this is going to force Nuffies' teleport as well. A nice fight over the Scuttle Crab here. Shen beats 2 long swords here, and Royalty is getting poked out here. And I know we posed the question, or at least I posed the question of what Daydream as build is going to be going in with lethal tempo, and it looks like a potential shield bow with how they're going on here. They could still potentially go on hit if they end up going for Bork here, but I'm guessing it's going to be a shield bow to just try and stay alive with all the dives that have been happening. So good criteria for crit to be built.
So right now we're going to be having Dr. Magic and Daydream shoving in the bot side versus Royalty and Zarkany kind of really shoving them in. They're going to be getting some of the poke this time. I think they... no, they're not going to be really pressuring it. They're going to be respecting Zarkany. I can't blame them here.
Yeah, really can't be blaming them at all here. And the gold is in favor of not MTC, but NED, who, of course, lost the last game. And we're sitting at a fairly similar story. They had a little bit more of a kill lead at this point, but the goal difference has been about the same. So we'll have to see if they're able to use their lead more effectively this game.
Right now we have Obi-Wan Shinobi coming in from the side here. That's going to be Daydream getting knocked up, having to get using a flash out. Zarkany could be in trouble here, going to be getting stunned. He's going to be burning alive to Dr. Magic. Right now, that's going to be the Braum ult coming through. They're trying to get the flag grab through, unable to do so, and Daydream is going to get a double kill out of this play. They won the 2v3, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
Yeah, Daydream is able to dodge a lot of these hooks, and if you're not getting CC'd into Oblivion, you can do a lot of damage as a carry here, and Piercing Arrow does a lot. And I spoke about how much the Corrupting Chains can really do to that character and really set up on some of this poke, although Nuffies potentially getting caught out here. Where's the tower shot? Oh my goodness! Greg standing too far out here and getting killed out of that play. And it looks like Nuffies is going to have mana this time to push out, although Zarky coming here, potentially getting a pick of their own. Supportal combat, the Ignite coming out. Verdant, will they live?
Nuffies absolutely will live, but I think Tibbers not going to be able to catch up with them.
Tibbers wasn't able to catch up. Oh my goodness. And it looks like Daydream is going for a Bork. They're going on hit.
Wow. Honestly, what is, like, I was gonna say, like, this game is quite slow. There's not much happening, and then just bam, 4 kills immediately, and just a lot of excitement coming through.
Blink, and you miss it, folks. Like, it was just like kind of sitting there, people trying to get some nice leverage here, and then the level 6 happened, and the game has changed drastically. It's almost like it's a major power spike for virtually everyone on this team. And our getting his ultimate. Wukong obviously getting his nice setup here. Nuffy's Tibbers has set up so many plays as well, and Daydream has been able to set up plays with their support here who could just really peel for them, start fights and disengage. And of course, all of these mobilities being unlocked on the other side of Mythic as well has really changed how these fights have been happening. But Mythic is down 4 kills at this point and close to 3,000 gold, which is not the same scenario as last game, although they do have a tie in objectives.
Ooh, that's going to be a nice hook onto Goaty, but then they're just going to be collapsing. Doctor just walking through the tower and going to be going in to help his teammate. Probably just going to blast Cone out of there, but right now there's going to be a Cataclysm coming in from Obi-Wan, but that's going to be Nuffy's having to flash on out of that play.
Yeah, nice flash for sure, but a longer cooldown than Cataclysm, as Flash is a 5-minute summoner, and you're not going to be able to do some of these flashy plays.
That's
Oh, you are.
Tibbers. Oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness, great getting caught out by the Tibbers there, although it wasn't an overextension. At this point, they were just kind of blind here. They were playing to the opposite side of the ward and were not able to see the enemy jungler time and react here, as well as their flash is down too, even though they died. So that's another plate on for Nuffy's here, who's been super potent. And we know both of these mid laners really love to roam and are able to utilize it here. Royalty, oh my goodness,
Ooh.
getting chunked out. And a chain of corruption into an instant cleanse Verdant. Oh my goodness.
And it wasn't able to just pop any of the bloodied stacks, so really good job by Royalty there, being able to get out of that dicey situation. You do have Blitzcrank that's going to be back here. The Hex Flash going to be coming through, but I don't know if you can make a potential play happen. That's going to be that's going to be Daydream getting that that corrupted arrow from downtown, being able to kill Royalty there. Are they able? I don't think they're able to find anything here. I think they freely get away from the situation.
Yeah, and this Rift Herald's going to have to find a tower to call home, as it's halfway gone as well, and you kind of want to be able to get some of those wards as well. None of these towers were as low. They had some nice plates from top side and mid side last game. We're able to create some return pressure, but we'll have to see if they're going to be able to follow up with this. They have a nice kill lead, some nice gold here. The early game is still here as well, with some nice mythics coming on them, as well as a Divine Sunderer, Leandres. Of course, Blade of the Rune King is not a mythic, but it really feels like it when you do build it. You're just going to be able to kite people out a little bit more.
Honestly, I think that Bork in a lot of situations is better than most mythics. Ooh, right now, Greg is going to be looking for a potential grab onto Shadowhawk here, unable to get any of the stuns off, and Shadowhawk's just going to be bobbing and weaving, going to be taking a fair bit of these rocks to the face, but he's going to be surviving the roam from Greg.
Yeah, it's really important to survive a lot of these roams, as you're able to get some return pressure in there.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Greg's in trouble. Trying to shove him away, but Goaty's going to be getting the pickup onto him. And this kill lead is just growing and growing. Right now, Royalty is going to be having to use a flash to get away from this play. Zarkany's going to be pulling a minion back to him, unable to find either Doctor or Daydream. They're going to be both quite low. Shinobi's going to be coming in from the sidelines, trying to see if he can make something work. And that's going to be Cataclysm used. Daydream is stuck back in there, but that's going to be Braum pushing him away. That's going to be Ultimate coming in from Royalty, getting the massive shutdown. Right now, it's Royalty versus Doctor. They have, the Ignite's going to be coming through. Royalty's going to be going down. Doctor's going to be getting that last pick up there and getting a double kill over onto Braum. 3-0-4, a monster.
Yeah, Big Daddy Braum bodying the enemy team here. Do you even lift, bro? Is what Dr. Magic is coming out here, ready to help Goaty take this next dragon, which will be the second dragon for their team. Some extra healing and shielding here. They don't have a whole lot of shielding here. Only Nuffy's has a shield built into their kit. But for sure, there's going to be some healing that they're going to be having as well with their kit as well. Red Shadowhawk is going to love this. And Braum has one of the highest, if not the highest, into the late game for their just natural healing as well, the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a really a tough hill to climb for Mythic here. But they are down more than 6K gold. How do you really come back to this? Do you try to go for picks? Do you just keep the dog in the side lane, go for the split, try to fight for objectives? How would you do it?
All right. So at a 6,000 gold difference, you don't get to make the plays. You have to respond to the enemy plays. At this point, if they end up doing like a 4-1 comp, you have to decide how many people does it take for me to take down the enemy split pusher. If it's 1 or 2, you have to say, okay, we're going to win here. We're going to lose what the other side is going to be having and play for that. Or just to understand that the split pusher might not be able to get as much as they would like, and you'll be able to win some of these team fights. Red Shadow doesn't have their Trinity edge right now, so they don't necessarily have to respond to them and then try and win with a numbers advantage and pick them off and just wait for them to make a mistake. This is how Mythic is going to get back into the game and win through it.
Yeah, I think that Roger has just been able to absorb a lot of the pressure coming in from Shadowhawk. I mean, the Gnar pickup was kind of grabbed, obviously, I think, to kind of handle a lot of the late game scalers that Roger does bring to the match. But right now, they're going to be looking for a potential dive onto him. He has Fury of the Sands. I think this could be a little bit of a nightmare scenario. Zarkany is going to be trying to be here in the wings for his teammate, but Shinobi's here. That's going to be Daydream throwing in some damage into Roger. But I don't think a dive is going to be viable here.
Yeah, Obi-Wan Shinobi is going to be Roger Maniac's only hope here to survive should anything come through here with a numbers disadvantage.
A good classic Star Wars reference. And Nuffy's going to get grabbed instantly. And that's going to be Cataclysm onto her. She's going to be stuck into the wall. Right now, Daydream is getting smacked by Roger, but is going to be getting the pickup onto him. Nuffy is going to be barely getting out with a sliver of HP, but that's going to be disaster with Goaty coming in, getting all the knockups. Zarkany is going to be pulling him under tower, but it's Zarkany all by himself. What can he do? Shadowhawk's just going to be stunned up under the tower, and that's going to be an absolute disaster for the side of Mythic. Only able to barely pick up Daydream there.
Yeah, a great disturbance in the side of the rift here as thousands of voice cry Pog into the chat section as we were able to get a nice pickup here on the side of NED, getting some nice kills here, the wave, and of course, a nice tower here as well. Royalty got a nice split push here, but they're not getting a tower here anytime soon. They really need these objective bounties as well to try and get into it. 10,000 gold is a bit of a mountain to try and climb up here. So maybe it might be the case that Obi-Wan Shinobi might not be their only hope. Their only hope might be game 3 at this point.
Yeah, this is now okay. You are just shy of a 10K gold deficit, and I don't know if that's going to be a mountain you can necessarily climb. I mean, obviously you still have the inevitability of Nasus, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to get back into this game. You have two completed items onto Annie, and one of them being Death Cap, and which you have Leandri's Death Cap, so she has a lot of money on her. That's spent. Yep. She's able to just blow people up.
There's 400 stacks on the side of Roger Maniac at 18 minutes, which, from my understanding, is pretty good at this stage in the game. But I don't think it's going to be enough, like you said. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Speaking of blowing them up. Yeah. Speaking of blowing people up. Dropping Shinobi down very low here. Timber's just going to be sitting next to you, burning him the W shield. Not enough. Not enough.
Audi, not an innie, my dude. You're going to be... Oh. Yeah, Scotty's going to be beaming you up there into the rift in the Nexus. Definitely a Star Wars reference there, for sure. No one's going to be mad at me.
Very, very close on that. That's going to be a pickup onto Shadowhawk there. That's going to be a little bit of lifeblood going back into the team, getting a fairly decent shutdown. But Goaty's just going to be fully diving to the team again. Zarkany's going to be pulling him under tower, unable to do anything. Royalty's trying to get some of the damage out onto Goaty. Goaty's getting quite low, but Nuffy's going to be getting the rampage.
Oh my goodness here. And okay, so the third Drake's come up. Ocean Drake is good on your team, but do you need it? Like, do you have to force this dragon out? Do you need to commit any resources here? If the enemy's trying to get it, you can just push into their tower. You have mid tower taken, or the mid inhib at this point taken. It was a little bit before the 20-minute mark, but they're not going to get a lot of extra value out of it. Before the 20-minute mark, you get a cannon every other wave, but at the 20-minute mark, you get it every wave. And with the inhibit guarantees that, so that helps you get some extra gold. But with it being as close as it was to that timer, that's not going to make a huge difference into this setup.
So I guess with that in mind, do you want royalty in the mid lane, or do you just want Roger and just try to make the dog as big as you can get him?
Dogs should never go into the mid lane. They should be in the side lane permanently. That is their home.
That I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't know if you necessarily like they opted to have royalty
do
here.
not put a split pusher into the mid lane, please, ever, please. You want to be putting your carry or just someone who can play safe there and get the gold here. They're gonna have to give up the Baron here.
Like, you can't contest this unless.
So
I was gonna say Obi-Wan's on the far side of the map. Yeah.
So there's a potential argument if all 5 people are there, Baron shreds your resistances, which is going to make things closer to the gold deficit, and they put a lot of their damage into the Baron as well. But that's still such a risky play. It's plays you have to consider when you're this far behind, but I still don't think it's necessarily the correct play, as they have to pick up this gold, get the waves shoved out so that the waves won't be as crashing, as big, and as strong as they would want, and stop some of these pickups.
Ooh, what a nice knockup from Greg there, but Daydream's going to have to flash on out. Dr. Magic getting all the peel, going to be pulling him under tower. The Cataclysm coming through, getting a lot of these carries locked into the area, but NwE's just going to be blowing him up, and that's going to be Goaty returning with all these knocks up. Rogers is going to be getting the shutdown onto Goaty, and that's going to be Roger going down as well. Now it's just going to be Greg trying to run away best he can from Shadowhawk. There's going to be a flash away. Stuns coming through, but unable to find the kill onto Greg there. Getting away from that, playing away from it. But that's going to be still Baron buff on 4 people on for Delta. They're just going to be taking this top side of the map. They're going to be taking inhib. They're trying to get some healing coming back through, but yeah. Roger's down. I think that was a lot of your consistent damage, a lot of your utility with like the slow.
NED's gameplay here has been quite gnarly.
This is potential trouble here. Shadow's gonna. Ooh, we're gonna be missing the hook from Zarkany, but they're trying to run them down best they can. Obi-Wan gonna be flagged. Wow, he's just gonna get blown up. Doesn't matter. Greg's gonna be trying to throw away his teammates. That's gonna be NwE's flashing through, now dominating, and just gonna be killing Greg instantly.
Yeah, and with everyone being alive here, of course. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is just brutal. Okay. Yep. All right. This is game 2.
We promised an exciting game. We promised an exciting game.
Fountain. Wow, it's the absolute BM coming out from Shadowhawk there.
Yeah, and with such a commanding gold lead here, 48.6k versus 34. That's what, 12,200 gold difference. And if you get a 500 gold lead every minute for the rest of the game, that's considered a stomp. And we're at about that point right here. So that was a very big stomp. So the scoreboard is 1-1 in a best of 3. They're fighting for the finals, trying to see if they can get into that match where they can get first place for some nice prize money here. So we'll have to see what the answer is going to be into game 3, because this was just now looking like Mythic's game plan like game 1. It didn't fall through like they normally did. How are they going to readjust? Are they going to be picking Nasus into game 3, or are they going to let it drop, let it sit for another day, and pick someone who's going to be able to answer Red Shadowhawk's top lane?
So right now, I think that they're going to be swapping. I think they're going to be swapping sides. That's I'm just going to make a prediction here. I think they're going to be swapping sides. I think they want to get priority pick, and I don't think they need to have a counter pick for Roger here on the top side. Roger is just able to kind of withstand a lot of the aggression coming in from Shadowhawk. So I don't think he's your problem whatsoever. I think that right now you need Obi-Wan Shinobi has gone for a lot of early plays in that last game, went for a lot of early ganks that just never panned out. And with them not panning out whatsoever, that made it a very hard game to play. So I don't know if J4 is definitely going to be the pick here. I think they might have to switch up the jungle options. All right. Yeah. Well, as we get ready for game 3, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be deciding who wins between Delta and Mythic Academy. We are going to go to a short commercial break to get ready for game 3. We'll be right back with the draft. Don't go anywhere. Grab some popcorn if you desire, and we'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. We are back with the game 3, the deciding match. It's 0-0, and it's a best of 1 at this point. And we have Mythic Academy on the blue side, and we have NwE Delta on the red side.
Yeah, more Bard bans here. No one wanting to fight him or the Aurelian Soul. There hasn't been too much of an adjustment here in the draft phase. So perhaps we're thinking that it was a play style that needed to be done, or we're predicting that maybe they just fear these champions so much that they're so potent that they're going to have to answer elsewhere on how these lineups went. Although Annie being banned here did change things up just a little bit. 3 mid laners getting banned. A good day to be a mid laner indeed. Just showing how strong you are in this game. With that snap pick, Maokai, something we haven't seen in a little bit here, Verdant.
Yeah, I was going to say, we definitely saw it earlier on in the season, but for this set so far, yeah, no. Maokai has not been a premium pick. Last time we saw it picked was 4th pick in the draft for game 1.
For like game 1, but nonetheless, it's been like a couple patches for me since I've seen like Maokai just been like, boom, first pick, taking it, no hesitation. Side of ACAD.
But they're going to be returning with the Varus again. They felt very confident about that. They're also going to get Goaty back on the Wukong, which, hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? It seems that that's going to be their mentality so far. They're going to be kind of keeping the same pick order, obviously, now on the red side.
Yeah, Varus, Wukong, pretty good comp. They work pretty well together, in my opinion. You're able to get a lot of follow-up, a lot of damage, and it's exactly what you want. And there's some flexibility amongst Varus as well as a whole, although maybe they're just going to go with the same build. We'll have to see what ACAD ends up picking as a response to try and go with it.
All right, they're going to be going with the Janna. Good disengage here, able to potentially get the Wukong away from your team. You obviously have the Maokai, who has the twisting advance. That's going to be help keep away some of this damage coming in. So far, and Delta has wanted to do a lot of dive options, and I think that Janna Maokai is likely to have enough peel to really just let this Jinx thrive and kind of strive and thrive throughout this game.
Yeah, exactly. They have the heals, the peels, and the feels there, with Jinx getting super excited, able to get some nice damage and some resets. Just with that extra movement speed and attack speed to go with it. Of course, you do really need to hit that 3-item power spike with her. As with Jinx, you can't really build Infinity Edge second. You need the extra attack speed to really utilize your auto attacks, which makes her a little bit weaker than some of these other AD carries, especially if you consider Callista's one of the strongest early AD carries in the game.
Yeah, I mean, without a Delta just definitely loves their early game, but okay, we have Varus already picked. So do you think this is going to be like a Varus in the mid lane, or we're going to see Callista somewhere else on the map, or where's Callista going?
Callista could go top. There is a chance she goes top, but I would guess the bot lane. Like, let's face it, top lane has been like 2 big boys standing there wailing on each other, sometimes getting some kills, sometimes not, but it's just been some sort of a beefcake factory, scaling up like a Nasus, a Gnar, a Khaled, all of those champions. So I don't think Callista's the play out of those. We'll have to see who they end up pairing with. It's usually their support, as you're able to get the passive part of your W, get some extra damage onto people. It's a nice good chunk on them as well. There's some potential for like a jungler, so you can just kind of yeet them in and get a nice setup for your team as well. But my guess is going to be pairing with the support here with your nice Oath.
So right now I think we might be seeing a potential Amumu or like Alistar or like some tank variant for support to pick up. I don't know.
Or Panth.
Oh yeah. Pantheon is definitely quite brutal. I think it's okay. They're gonna be saving the support pick for last. Interesting. So they're gonna get the top lane.
Bar support. which is unlikely but possible.
You know what? It's 2023. We
at Riot Games.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go anywhere.
Yes, but an important thing to note here is you have all AD coming out from the side of Delta. Obviously, Varus does have an AP variant, but it's
Well, if it's mid Varus, it's most likely AP.
You know what? Throw Rammus top. Throw Rammus top. You got this.
Hey, don't knock the Rammus top. I won a ranked game because the Rammus just rotated bot and we just got so many kills. I became a monster and just murdered everyone. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I jokingly say that because Camille will absolutely cook a Rammus in the top.
Oh yeah. If he's ever in lane.
Yeah, true damage is gonna be quite brutal for him.
A lot of scissoring here in the top with Camille's legs and Gwen's, weapon of choice here. Just going to be able to cut people open and have a lot of bleeding to be had here.
I can't argue with that analysis, I guess.
I think I broke Verdant here, guys.
Wow. I didn't expect to be hearing that today. So that's going to be a Malzahar grab in the mid lane here. So, wow, this is going to be Kalista Varus in the bot lane. Wow. This was not even like my 8 trillionth draft I would have ever thought of in my mind. Kalista always throws me for a loop because like she could go many places.
And she's pretty much an AD carry for most teams in my book. I mean, you can throw a wrench up in their top, but there was like no signifiers for me to do that. Although I can like put my hand deep into this Oracle of Delphi, and never once would I have seen this draft return. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's going to make for an interesting game 3 with the stakes being as high as they are. We'll have to see who's going to be committed where specifically. I could see a Varus support, or a Malzahar support, I should say, mean they can lock people down and silence people, so Kalista's going to be able to kite stuff off. Well, and because nice Rylays.
I mean, they were hovering at the Cassio. They were hovering the Cassio before it was Malzahar. So I'm doubting Malzahar is going to be
I'm down. I certainly see that as well. Varus is going to have not quite the same function. Obviously at level 6, that really helps. You're not going to be throwing them in. However, they're not going to be having to focus on getting farm. They're going to be able to focus on landing their abilities, getting some hit, and stopping any healing that you're going to be having. So that will be nice. But the other thing is Janna Jinx is fine just playing things slow, scaling, and shields don't get affected by grievous wounds here.
Yeah, I mean, I think considering last game, you saw Daydream on Varus, and he performed quite admirably. I totally understand them picking that early, but I'd be surprised if they didn't want to see him on that again. And he played that very, very well. They won the 2v3. Him and Dr. Magic. They did a really good job in that role, and that's good. Okay, that is going to be Varus in the ADC role. We're going to be seeing Daydream reprise that pick.
Wait, what? That would mean what?
Kalista support?
What? Okay. So I'm usually this is the thing. I'm usually pretty good with off-meta picks, like a mid-Singe. I could explain how that all works, or if you have some other sort of ideas, I can figure it out. I can do the mental league calculus on how the numbers would happen. But Kalista support, that throws me off in a loop, as you need your gold as a carry to do any of the damage you need, because all your damage comes from auto attacks and then your rend or your E being able to pull spears out, which is throwing me off. But we'll have to see how it comes through and how they're going to be utilizing this as a pick.
So okay, with Callista here in the support, who do you oath sworn? You want to do it on the bars just to save
Oh,
your AC
100%
and help
bars,
him
100%
reposition?
bars.
I'm
Because
like,
all
or
of your damage is in the early game. You have to be like, I am going to win the lane. They have to absolutely beat the living crap out of royalty here.
okay, I'm like, is there a world in which you want to throw it on? Sorry, I'm forgetting. I apologize, but I'm forgetting
Yeah.
the jungler. Goaty. That's
Yeah,
it. I'm
Goaty.
like, do you potentially throw it in Goaty or?
So,
I'm like,
you
I feel
need
like
to
that's
be
a poor
winning your
man's.
lane.
I feel like that's a poor man's Thrush's lantern to like throw Wukong into the lane further.
It's point and click effectively, so it's got some upsides with the cooldown. But the important thing is when you have that sworn oath, you get extra damage, and you need that to win the lane. You're going for a lane-winning thing, and unless Goaty's like, yeah, I'm gonna pitch my tent into the bot lane here, I'm gonna win things out here, you can absolutely never do that because you have to be relying on that. You're just gonna be going for the 2v2 here, or if the jungler shows up here, you're gonna have the W with Varus all the time, who's gonna be able to pick up that damage.
All right. Well, we've definitely talked about this bot lane quite a bit. In the mid lane, I think that's gonna be Malzahar is just gonna be playing it nice and slow. I don't know if Greg's gonna be able to get a lot of kill threat onto Malzahar. Obviously, Greg has some pretty good ultimates to be stealing from the side of Delta.
Yeah, like, well, I'm not sure how Callista's ultimate actually works with Silas. You don't
The
have
Hex,
to target.
I mean, for Hextech Ultimatum, you still get the basically untargetable proc, and then you still trap them in an area. So I mean, Camille Ultimate still very strong.
Yeah, Camille ultimate really good. Wukong ultimate really good. Malzahar ultimate really good. Chain of Corruption really good.
Yeah, I don't know Callista Ultimate though. What that does?
Yeah, because it's like you have an item you start in the game. No. Silas gets one at the beginning of the game too. That's what happens. And he gets to make that choice. Should he steal it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll look at the beginning and we'll do it. All right,
okay.
All right. $5. Okay.
I'm not gonna bet, but anyway. So we're gonna be just getting past the spectator delay. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be game 3. We're getting to it. We're getting down to the nitty gritty action. We'll see you soon. Be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Abba was right. He does get the black spear. So good on him for knowing that.
You'll have to turn the
small-
scoreboard on so that chat can see it as well.
No, I'm
Not
not
gloating
on.
here at all.
I'm not. No.
I remember this specifically because of an ARAM game like a year ago, and I'm like, oh, this Eldritch knowledge, it can finally be used. Although Greg getting a pickup here on Goaty super early, not going to change. Oh, okay, yeah, no kill happening here. Although it's not been used yet. Coming here out of Greg, eating up an item slot and forcing out some wards here early on as well. 2 trinkets being down on each side. Oh.
Right now, wait, who did he use it? Okay, it looks like it was used on Maokai.
Oh, on Maokai. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense with the mid lane.
So Dr. Magic has the Hail of Blades. I'm not surprised to see that at all. Just going to be trying to get a lot of this early extra damage. But this is just... this is just absolutely throwing me for a loop. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to be seeing Phase Rush coming out of Shinobi. That's not a surprise here. That's going to be going, obviously, more for the kind of tankier end of things, going definitely for the engage and peel option. But do you see any other interesting summoners or keystones?
We don't have a TP or a flash coming out of Roger, but we do have one coming out of Red Shadow Hawk, which is interesting because I sometimes also see them taking a similar lineup here. And it looks like they're just going for Grasp here for some nice short trades. Well, Mythic in the top lane is be going in for some longer all-ins, which I think makes sense there.
So it's fairly common for Gwen to not take flash in the top side.
Well, yeah. That I'm aware of, but Camille, I thought would also do a similar summoners lineup.
Yeah, I think Shadowhawk is maybe starting to respect Roger a little bit. Hasn't been able to abuse him with some of these counter picks, and it's just like, you know what? I guess we're going to be handshaking a bit here in the top lane. I'll just do some short trades with you with this grasp.
That's true, but if the enemy is going to be picking that up lightly, you're not going to be having a combat summoner here.
Daydream is going to get knocked out by the NATO here, but going to be... Yeah, he's going to be throwing back a good fair bit of damage with this Blighted Arrow. But in the mid lane, Greg barely not being able to make that engage just because the Voidling just spawned in and just ate that chain stun.
Yep.
That's always funny seeing those come through. Ooh, Roger and Shadowhawk going at it here. He's unable to get... Okay, he is able to get some of the snip snack. Is it Snicker Snack? No, that's Loose Carol. I'm forgetting the name of Roger's... It's Snip Snip. Sorry. And I'm like, I know it's something like that.
Yeah. We'll have to see if Rogers can be able to Bob Barker Red Shadowhawk here at all with the snips.
Oh my gosh, what a reference. Anyway, in this bot lane, we're not going to be seeing too much action. We have the junglers here on the bot side, but I don't think anything's really going to be coming through. Ooh, Obi-Wan's just going to be committing all in for it, having to flash away. Cody's going to be flashing after him. Oh, maybe any damage coming through. Obi-Wan barely making it out of that play. That looked quite scuffed there for a moment, but whew, not even close, baby. Wasn't even scared whatsoever.
Yeah, that is quite interesting to see. Out of all of this, we're able to get a nice sort of pickup here with some summoners being gone, Goaty and Obi-Wan Shinobi being gone here as well. It's looking not super great for Nuffies here. The wave coming in, and they're out of mana. You're really mana hungry as Malzahar, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them, and that means Greg's going to have a nice reset here if they want to take it. And on top of that, they're just going to be a little bit ahead on some of these rotations as well. And Nuffies is possibly going to be losing some gold here.
I think you're going to be losing a bit of gold and also their TP. I think that's
TP,
kind of...
XP. Yeah, forcing things out. Yeah, Greg staying just to force out the TP for sure here. And they might be using a TP of their own if NwE is going to be able to get that out. Staying just a little bit longer to try and get that lost chapter and take out some of these important caster minions, which is very important in the mid lane. Although his back getting delayed here, not walking back far enough, NwE's getting a nice Q off there to prevent that from happening, which forced them to walk away. And it looks like Greg is going to be beefing here, trying to go for a Rod of Age Mythic here, which is fairly standard to my knowledge. But it means they're going to be sacrificing a little bit of damage, but they're going to be a little bit more HP sufficient.
So right now, we're going to be seeing just kind of more jungle clearing instead of trying to go for some earlier plays. Obi-Wan not getting any early pickups, and actually for the first time this set has a farm lead versus Goaty, which is
no early invade.
Yeah, no early invade, no early shenanigans, just good old fashioned clearing.
Just some good old-fashioned clearing, although they did end up going with an earlier gank than they normally did, which didn't necessarily pan out, but they were able to match Obi-Wan there, so they weren't able to get anything there off as well. Although with a slower clear speed, it's obviously favoring Obi-Wan Shinobi.
Right now, that's going to be the suppression in the mid lane, but that's going to be Dr. Magic here in trouble. Royalty is trying to get the pickup, is unable to find it, is now going to be getting the first blood, and Daydream's going to get exhausted, unable to get the pickup on Zarkany, is getting low himself. That's going to be a double kill handed over to Royalty. Goaty's unable to help his teammates, and they're going to be living with a sliver on the side of Mythic.
Yeah, they were starting with a long sword there, so they're going to hit with that Noon Quiver there. They had a little bit more damage than what Daydream was able to get, and with the numbers advantage as well, that helped secure them. And 2 kills here on Royalty. They had to use their summoners, but an extra gold lead on a big hyper carry. Really good to see into the early game. Although with 2 kills here, they're not up as much gold as you would suspect, with first blood being 400 and then the second kill being 300 gold. They're only up 600 here, so they're a little bit down here with some of the farm differences, which has been starting to leverage out here, and the gold lead has been reflecting that.
Absolutely. I mean, right now, in the top side of the map, Camille kind of wins in this early game, like without a doubt in my mind. And as the game starts to go on longer and longer, Gwen's just going to become more and more of a threat. She now is a leeching layer. She's going to be able to sustain through a lot more of this poke. But Camille obviously is no slouch for late game damage. And
it's true damage too. It's true damage is the scary part, even with some of these tanks.
I was gonna say both of these people in the top side of the map, they bring a lot of true damage, so it's just gonna be a very scrappy top lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see who ends up getting the edge over the other, or if it's dead even. My guess is it'll be fairly even into the laning phase, and both will have to go for either some sort of a 4-1 push or a 1-4, and they'll either duel here, and the better mechanics will end up.
NwE is looking to be in trouble, using the suppression, getting the. Trying to get the damage onto NwE. Are they able to get there? NwE's living with the sliver, but the super mega death rocket coming in from downtown, getting the pickup. Royalty's on a killing spree. Wow. That looked like NwE was just about to survive and then enter stage right. Boom.
Yeah, because it's a choke point there's fewer angles for people to dodge, so Royalty saw that, and that helps you land your ultimate there, the Super Mega Death Rocket. Although Zarkey they're going to get hit.
He's in trouble. Dr. Magic is coming in from the sidelines, going to be picking up the kill onto Zarkany. Royalty is just going to be walking on out of there with half health.
Yeah, some return kills here as well, making things very close between each people. But we have to recognize that all of the gold here is really on Royalty, who has all 3 of their kills. Doesn't have their mythic quite yet, and they've spent their gold as they just recently went to the base. They don't have any plates here, unlike the enemy bot laner, who's able to get 1, possibly a second here with Dr. Magic and Daydream. It looks like that's going to be the case. Who's going to help even some of this gold out as well. And yeah, just more of this is going to be going throughout the game.
So, looking at objectives, what objectives do you want to be focusing here for and for either side?
All right, so we have a sole priority here for the Earth Dragon, and we're going into a win. So there's a good soul win con here with how these comps want to be playing. This Rift Herald has already been taken here as well, which is an important thing to try and get some of these pressures and possibly just unlock the top side of the map. I am.
Right now, that's going to be that Hextech ultimatum coming in from Camille here. And sorry, no, I apologize. This is going to be the Twisty Advance coming through for her. I misspoke. That was Gwen's W coming through.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Godie's trying to go for a play on the top side here. That's going to be him getting quite low. Now that's the Hextech ultimatum. And Shadowhawk getting the pickup onto and Obi-Wan Shinobi. Greg's trying to get out with his life, having to flash away. Roger looking quite low. The snip's not going to be enough to get away from this play, and Red Shadow is going to be getting the double kill here on the top side.
The roaming Callista here is super important and was able to help secure that. They're able to get some gold here. Of course, the Rift Herald crashed in there, so they're also able to get some return gold here. But I'm also seeing in chat asking why you might want a Callista support here. And some of the reasons here is you're able to get some nice trades and you're trying to win the lane. And you help keep one of your most important people here in some of these big team fights, Daydreams, Varus, safe by yoinking them in with your ultimate here. And that's been able to help them out here. We'll see a little bit more of this in the bot lane right now.
And that's going to be Royalty having to flash on out of this play. And then we are going to be seeing Zarkany here in trouble. That's going to be a flash shield coming in from him. Are they able to get this kill with the Ren? They are going to be finding it. Dr. Magic running them down with the entire lane. Martial Poise really just coming through here. That's going to be Obi-Wan Shinobi trying to shove it back over to Royalty, trying to get some of this damage through Super Mega Death Rocket, getting them quite low. Are they able to find the kill here? That kill's not going to be going over to Royalty and just snowballing them even harder here, but Greg's going to be getting that pickup.
Yeah, it's nice to not have all of your eggs in one basket. Of course, that really does help, but just a little bit more onto Greg here, who's been able to get a lot of value throughout the set, realistically. Having them get that, and more importantly, it takes time. Literally, it takes time for Ro to get its stacks. It's just a matter of time for him to get stronger here if he's able to build it. And with the top lane being pushed this hard, they might not be able to get this last fight in a minute, being they don't have any combat summoners. But they do have a Divine Sunder and 2 kills and some nice magic resist here as well, but no level lead. And of course, Roger Maniac does have plated steel cap, so it's going to be a little bit harder for a Hawk to get some of this damage in here, although Grasp doing work here.
Yeah, Grasp, and once you have Divine Sunder, it just really changes the game for Camille. That she starts to really just grow into her own, and she can kind of just handle any onslaught. You have the shield coming through. This is gonna be a very quick dragon. Good lord, melted. But right now the Twisty Advance coming through. They're on. Oh, they do get the root on the top side, and that's just gonna be Daydream throwing in the corrupted chain of corruption there. But now they might be looking for a potential pushback with Godie. Okay, Godie's like Godie was looking for it. He was thinking about it.
Obi-Wan trying to create some nice space there and a nice setup for his team with his ultimate, not able to get that in there. Although Daydream did expend theirs just to make sure everyone stayed safe, with his being longer. That's super important. Although it looks like I'm going to have to hold my point here. The brawl in the top lane.
Right now, that's going to be Roger in trouble. The Hextech ultimatum coming through. Roger's trying to get out as much damage, get this Conquer going, but it doesn't matter. Red Shadow is just going to have too much damage with Godie coming in from the sideline and going to be taking her down.
Yeah, well played, Godie. And with 3 kills coming onto Hawk as well, that's going to be the first tower, just like we're seeing right now. And that's just going to unlock them for a split push. It's going to be more dangerous to go into enemy territory. They certainly can get this, but this is going to make sure that anyone can rotate freely here. Nuppies is decent in his side lane as well. They're able to push things fairly safe. You have your spell shield as a passive, and you've got good wave clear as a champion. It's just part of your kit. So that could mean Daydream's going to be able to play a little bit safer in the mid lane and farm things up just a little bit more. And of course, with Blade of the Rune King, they can possibly kite out Greg just enough so they don't get landed and CC chained, if you will.
So, quick question. Right now on the Maokai, I'm seeing Merc Treads. Do you think that's do you think that's the choice, considering that you have 480 champions?
They are the front line, and there's a lot of CC to answer to, so I understand the point here. That being said, Merc Treads doesn't really help you versus Hawk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, the only CC I think it helps you with, obviously, is the root coming in from Daydream, and then Hawk Stun bouncing off the wall. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's
because
all
it has
airborne procs, it's all suppressions.
yeah, because
Yeah,
it says in its item right here. I'm hovering over it. It
yeah,
has
yeah,
no
yeah.
effect on airborne or suppression here.
Yeah,
So
I'm like,
I
it
I don't
feels
think it's the
fairly
play. I don't
useless
think
in
it's
my
the play.
mind.
There's not enough AP damage, and the damage isn't coming out of Nuffies.
Oh,
It's coming
Roger.
out of Hawk here.
Roger, you're in trouble, baby. Yeah,
Yeah,
Red Shadow's
just
just going to be able to run him down. Just,
I went with the Star Wars stuff before, but right now I'm just gonna have to say Roger, Roger, dying there like a bot in the top side. Not saying they're bad or anything, but they just got caught out yet another time. And Hawk right here is a good duelist with 4 kills, and they're gonna be able to protect against some of this AP damage.
ooh,
Yeah,
that's going to be a nice ultimate coming in from Zarkany, just shoving Goaty away from
yep.
this play.
You do get more ticks. This happened on like 3 or 4 patches ago, but
Ooh, that's going to be flash coming in from Obi-Wan, going to be shoving him back. You do have the suppression, yeah, coming in from Greg, and that's going to most likely be the dagger there, and Greg's going to be getting that pickup.
Yeah, Greg's going to be getting the pickup here indeed, although there might be another pickup here in the mid lane with how Goaty's playing.
Obi-Wan, he's just going to be walking out a little bit too tanky at this point in the game. Those Merc Treads really just coming in, saving him in that play. But right now, they're going to be potentially looking for a dive here, or just going to be taking the tower. I mean, you have the demo proc, but the Super Mega Death Rocket kind of
It's good at
de-incentivizing
clearing out
them.
waves. It's good at clearing waves because the AoE splash damage, should you hit a champion, it just goes right through them otherwise.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you have to wait for it to detonate. Can potentially steal some objectives as well. A little bit harder than you would say with like a NwE or a Cho'Gath ultimate, right? Or I guess NwE is not, it's not their ultimate, but nonetheless, they can help do that. Oh no,
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, Roger's is gonna go down swinging here, like admirably. Gets Red Shadowhawk quite low, but Goaty coming in from the sidelines yet again, helping to save him on this play, and now is a 5-0 Camille. Absolutely scary.
Yeah, very scary there indeed. Things will change once both champions get their 2-item spike. I think Gwen's will be a little bit stronger here. So I think Roger's going to be able to do a little bit better in these fights, maybe possibly win them. But with the gold being stretched out even more between these two, Roger's sitting at 6,300 versus a dominating 8,200. That's going to make things quite potent. And Roty had to flash there from the chain of corruption.
Yeah, I mean, this game is very, very different from like the other two. I mean, the other two were just kind of a little bit of stomps in their own right, where we just saw both teams dominating, but this one's a lot closer. And also, we're going to be seeing in the top lane just Red Shadowhawk being able to play the aggressive top laner that they've really wanted to play all set, and just going to be now dominating here in the top lane.
Yeah, teams adapting between these games. It's exactly what you want to see, and that's what's made Game 3 so interesting as a whole. All right, just adapting here. Fighting over this soul point is going to be super important. We'll have to see if they're able to force their way in on MTC into the enemy team and take it possibly.
Right now that's gonna be that going over to the red side, and Goaty's gonna be trying to throw back some of this damage, go for the engage. Greg's getting low himself. He's gonna hit flashing on out of there. Both teams are kind of disengaging. We're getting some TPs coming through. That's gonna be Red Shadowhawk going in against Roger, trying to get some of that damage. That's just gonna be Doctor just going through the Umbral Glaive, getting rid of a lot of the wards. They're gonna be rotating this over to the mid lane, probably taking this tower. Yeah, that's going
this
down.
Tower could be rotated into a Rift Herald if it wasn't so late here. 9 minutes and 50 seconds. It's going to despawn. Potential Baron setup, and with MTC's bot tower being as low as it is, that's going to be a little bit more difficult for them. They only have 1 tower as well on the top side versus the 2 that we have on red side, which is really changing things. It looks like people are just going to be sticking to their lane assignments 20 minutes into the game, which is particularly interesting from my standpoint here. Although maybe I'm wrong here with how things are being rotated here. Red Hawk going into the bot lane. I was expecting NwE's to go mid, but it looks like they're a little lost trying to trade around here. And while they're confused, Obi-Wan's trying to possibly take this Baron out. Roger not quite having enough damage and getting caught out.
Right now, that's going to be Royalty just getting chased down here, getting rooted, and this is most like, yeah, that's going to be Daydream getting a 500 gold shutdown onto Royalty there, and that's maybe about the last person you wanted it to go on to. Like,
all your gold, and that's your carry as well. And a lot of the damage that you need to stop them from taking Baron. Their whole team's here. So they're going to have to try and maybe get this mid wave pushed under so that they get something out of this trade, because they're not going to win this all in. The return damage is going to be too massive. A lot of abilities up here. Although Roger Maniac trying to stop, not going to be the case. The all-in fight.
That's the suppression. That's the suppression coming through. And on Obi-Wan, he's going to be going down here. Roger going to be using a lot of these ultimate stacks, try to get out of here. They're going to be using the blast cone. Yeah, I was gonna say they maybe think they have a potential chance to turn that play just because they have the resistance to shred it. Wow, holy shit. Okay, Greg just gonna be killing Dr. Magic there. I did not expect that kind of burst damage.
That's the magic trick. It's called disappearing there. Well played by Dr. Magic. It's not something I thought you could do here, trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat, but that's what we saw. Of course, well played by Greg getting that line up there, not having shield bow.
Right now, there's going to be Greg going in and into the meat grinder here. Daydream getting the pickup onto him. And now Zarkani's in trouble. That's a very good NATO getting him away from that play.
Not even a grinder with how this has been done. There's a lot of cutting here, although there's some nice tenderizing coming out of Goaty, who can get you nice and flat, and then Red Shadowhawk can cut you up and cook you over a nice fire.
Wait, Blunt Force Trauma? I thought that was Mundo. I don't see Mundo.
Mundo goes where he pleases, and that might just be the casting board.
Right now, Goaty just channeling the spiritual animal that is Dr. Mundo.
Dr. Mundo is my spirit animal.
Oh my gosh. Right now, Obi-Wan's going to start getting really choked out of this game. Wants to go for this farm, but just being pushed off of everything. Goaty's coming in from the sideline, just taking everything. And I think they're going to slowly but surely start choking him out of this game. They're being able to just eat up all the vision with this Umbral Glaive. Doctor not really caring about his life.
It's not even the Umbral Glaive. It's the Baron buff. It gets you extra stats, gets your minions up closer. And we're already seeing a top side here. Although Goaty getting caught out is very important.
First, the advance going to be coming through. That's going to be Goaty in potential trouble, and that's going to be Zarkani getting that shutdown. Right now, Doctor is not going to be in trouble here, but that's going to be Super Mega Death Rocket coming through. Obi-Wan's going to be shoving Dr. Magic back to the team. That's the flash from him. And this might be the end to this play. Rogers.
Yeah, and Dragon's coming up here in 30 seconds. And with Goaty being down, they don't have Smite. I don't think they're going to be able to stall things out for this. Of course, Hawk is split pushing here, which is a force of nature to reckon with. Could be taking a possible inhib here if they're not careful. Who does as a TP who can force some of these fights out. It looks like Maniac is going to have to back here and try and use a numbers advantage here for a 2v1. And with Goaty coming back here, there's time for them to walk here. No Hextech gates to try and jump into here. But this is a potential Infernal Soul here. So a lot more damage and all-in potential coming out of here.
With effectively 5 steady damage dealers, I think this would be the nail in the coffin for Mythic here if they are able to get Infernal Soul.
Yeah, Obi-Wan was able to get an early Rift Herald, so they were able to get some, but not every objective this game.
That's going to be a twisting advance coming in. Goaty's going to be trying to get away from this scenario, but then that's going to be suppression coming out of NwE's. Daydream in potential trouble here. Going to get pulled away by Dr. Magic. And now this situation is really turned around. This Royalty in trouble. Hextech Ultimatum going to be locking him down. Godie's going to get Obi-Wan Shinobi. That's going to be Royalty trying to run away best they can, but that's just going to be almost ace on the side of Mythic. And Zargani's trying to get away best he can. That's going to be a NATO getting him out of the situation. That's 4 people down.
Yeah, an excellent NATO stopping an ace there, super important, but the soul is going to be happening here. Just being able to delay things out that well, and that split push is why this play worked here. Super well done. And Royalty ended up getting picked out here. Hawk almost ended up getting chunked out, but they knew when to stop and re-engage, which is really good. And the Ravenous Hydra is almost fully stacked here. That's extra healing and damage to go with your Divine Sunder. And with they're probably going to be finishing their Maw as a third item I would expect at this point with as much gold committed, and you get a lot more value out of it, especially once you get more AD, as that really helps that shield, that lifeline there as well. And of course, the other part of this equation is the ultimates that were here. Dark Magic made sure that Daydream was safe, and we're seeing some nice value come out of Dr. Magic as well, pulling another magic trick, making their AD carry disappear and reappear onto the enemy.
I definitely questioned the Callista pick here. I'm not gonna backslide and say I did. I thought it was very interesting. And you know what? It found a lot of value in that last fight. Like, Daydream was absolutely caught out, and Dr. Magic being able to get him out of that dicey situation was quite important.
Imagine if Royalty had that ability. They would have been able to live and potentially do damage, which could have changed this, even though the goal difference is as dire as it is. Some of these fights have been more close than you would think with how things are going if you ignore the gold lead. Right now it's at 9,000, so we've seen how dire that can be several times here at Style Esports. I've seen leads like this been thrown. I've certainly won games with more deficits on the side, but it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen here. The odds are against them in this setup, but that just makes the game more exciting.
Ooh, that's going to be Greg coming in with the suppression on a Nuffy's. Nuffy is going to be throwing some of the space aids back onto them, but Nuffy's having to flash out, but Royalty is going to be getting the pickup there. All right, hey, Nuffy is probably... that's going to be 3 people committed for him, but he's going to be sacrificing his life for a Baron. Absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah, you can't silence rockets shooting at your face. It's gonna blow up, and you're gonna be going to the Year Fountain for that. Unfortunately, though, with so many people being committed to that play, they're not able to stop a Baron, and you have a Camille with 6 kills who can just duel anyone here at this stage in the game with 3 items. Having their Maw and a Baron buff means they can push anything out. Of course, going for the top lane here because it was so close to Baron and their TP is not up. Ideally, though, they'll be going in here to the possible bot lane here to try and get this shove unless Nafis ends up picking this up to try and get it. There's a good 3-1 comp that they can go with here as well. Royalty does have their 3 items here, building Rapid Fire Cannon as their 3rd item. So they're going to have more attack speed, which is going to really help out their kit as a whole. They did end up going for that Infinity Edge as a 2nd item power spike.
I'm not surprised to be seeing that coming out. My one question is, why RFC versus Runaan's Hurricane? I thought Runaan's Hurricane was like the big...
Okay, there are 2 scenarios in which you build Runaan's Hurricane. 1, if the enemy team clumps. 2, if you need wave clear. So I think there is an argument just because you want the wave clear because of the gold deficit here. But the other side is Daydream has a lot of range to answer to, and with Dr. Magic's ultimate as well, you might need that extra range with your rockets to try and pick people up.
That's going to be a flash coming through. They're going to be trying to go in on Daydream, but he's going to get pulled out from Dr. Magic. Yet again, the suppression coming through. Obi-Wan Shinobi is going to be going down. That's going to be Royalty out of the team fight, and I think that this might be your game, unless Roger pulls something big out of his hat, but that's going to be a silence. He's pushed away, unable to do much here. Greg trying to do as much as he can. He's going to be throwing out the stopwatch quite early, and he's going to be going down. Dr. Magic getting the pickup. And that's going to be at Roger, and are they just going to dive into this fountain for Zarkany? Are they going to show the absolute disrespect? No. And that's going to be Delta getting just the reverse sweep onto this match. Wow.
They got it, and they didn't die.
And he
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
die. They still went with the perfect game. Oh my! The disrespect coming out of Shadow. Wow.
Yeah,
What
their
a
HP
turnaround
bar
of a set.
dropped down. Then they had to stopwatch, and then they autoed once, and they were basically at half health. Holy moly! There. Hey, if they didn't die there, they still had a TP.
Wow.
Oh,
Just okay. So looking at both teams, just like the entire throughout the entirety of the set. All right, what do you think was the best player for both squads?
okay. So I think Greg was able to get a lot of value out of all three games for the Mythic side of things. Royalty also did play things quite well. They had the damage and everything that they needed, played well in game one. They were able to 1v2 effectively, and was a large part of the reason why they were ending up able to win. Unfortunately, the game two and game three, they weren't able to get as much value. I think Greg was their most consistent player here, Shinobi being the other most consistent player on their team. And I think Greg just ended up getting more value as a whole in this set. So
Okay.
I think they'd be the ace. I think they'd be the ace. I think it's a lot more difficult for the other side of the equation here, as Daydream had some fantastic dodges. They were able to get a lot of damage here as well. Nuffies ended up getting some first bloods and was pretty potent in the mid lane as well. Goaty had some nice plays as well, being a bit of a goat. And then of course Red Shadowhawk enabled that whole game with their split push, just winning stuff up as well. But I don't think they could have done it without Goaty there, who was able to back them up in some of those crucial moments and not hand Roger Maniac some of those shutdowns. So I think Goaty here is the MVP.
I think that I would have to agree. Like Goaty did it, was just consistent throughout all of his games, just doing a really good job getting these pickups. Obviously, Wukong, he was really putting in a lot of work, getting a lot of these knockups. But man, I would like to apologize at the end of this particular game to Dr. Magic. I did not believe in your pick. I will wholeheartedly admit it. But you played quite admirably, and you were able to save Daydream on multiple occasions. So very well played by yourself, sir.
Yeah, very well played. I was excited to see how it was going to work. That threw me off into a loop, and I always like being wrong here. So well played. Dr. Magic also did very admirably. I didn't give them any kudos in that analysis for how the team.
Oh yeah, no.
Support.
I just want to say that personally. I'm like, thank you. But thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in with us here today. And that's going to be all. I think we have a game coming in this Friday. We're going to be seeing a lot of we're getting, obviously this was the semifinals for the Targon's division, but we're going to be getting into finals possibly this weekend. So stay tuned. Good luck on the Rift, everybody, and good luck in ranked. See you around. Thank you very much, Abbatromb, for joining me today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure casting with you. A very hype best of three. And of course, the losers bracket is going to be coming in for the Targon stuff, with Flash Abusers being one of the potential comebacks to be fighting this, who I believe was knocked out by Mythic here. So things might change for them.
All right. So, hey, right now we got an important question. Anyone in chat, any recommendations for raiding? Who do we raid? Anyone want to see anyone in particular?
I don't think there's any.
Okay, Palmer's. All right,
Yeah.
Do you mind setting that up, Abba?
I have no idea how to set up a raid.
Right.
I can quick look it up. Oh, let's see here. Flash raid phone. Okay, so let's do.
All right. Well, as we we kind of get it together on that end. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And also from all the people that coming around from other previous raids, thank you again to Risen and Low Budget LCS for raiding us in the first place.
Oh, it looks like I don't have the command or the permissions to raid as this kind of moderator, so I don't think I'll be able to do it. So follow Royal Official's suggestion. Go to Palmer ZZ on Twitch here. Share the love. It was nice seeing everyone on here. I liked seeing the number go burr.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one.